Have you ever stopped to think about what reality is actually made of? For most of us, it's this seamless, continuous thread of cause and effect. But what if that thread was just broken? Today, we're going to dive into what it's like to live with a mind fractured by severe dissociative amnesia, a condition where the mind literally builds walls to cope with trauma. And we're going to look at the absolutely brilliant, custom-built tools engineered to weave that fabric of reality back together. So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the problem itself. What does it mean to live in a reality of fragments? Then, we'll get into the incredible solution of engineering an external brain. After that, we'll dig into the 4 foundational tools that make it all work, before seeing how they come together to weave a whole new, cohesive reality.
Okay, so to really appreciate just how ingenious the solution is, we first have to wrap our heads around the problem. We need to understand what it's actually like to live a life without a continuous timeline.
This simple phrase, right here, was found on a personal whiteboard. And wow, it's such a powerful metaphor for the core problem we're talking about, a total breakdown in the very structure of reality. I mean, think about it. When a piece of fabric has too many holes, it just can't hold anything together. It falls apart.
So, what does a fragmented reality actually feel like? Well, the source material describes it as living in bubbles of time. Imagine your life isn't one long movie, but instead, it's just a collection of disconnected snapshots. You have these individual moments, sure, but the thread connecting them, it's gone. And that makes learning from your past almost impossible.
And this contrast is absolutely crucial. See, for most of us, that continuous timeline means we learn intuitively. But with a fragmented timeline, the basic laws of cause and effect just completely break down. Can you imagine one part of your mind doing something, but a totally different part experiencing the consequence later with zero memory of the cause? The world would feel chaotic, totally unpredictable.
This brings us right back to that fabric we were talking about. When it's got too many holes, it just can't hold any weight. Any story, any attempt to understand the world just tears right through. And here it is. This is the actual whiteboard where this whole problem was mapped out. The key insight is written right there. When you're missing too much context, you become unable to use critical thinking. Your mind is basically flying blind, forced to just guess its way through reality.
So what does a brain do when it's facing these giant blank spots? It confabulates. And let's be super clear, this is not lying. It's a subconscious, neurological survival tactic. The brain is just desperately trying to stitch those holes together with its best guesses, just to create enough of a picture to function. But yeah, from the outside, it can easily look like someone's being inconsistent or deceptive.
Okay, so we've got a brain whose internal hardware is partitioned, which makes a continuous reality impossible. And this brings us from this massive problem to a really radical and honestly ingenious solution.
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? When the very systems inside your head that are designed for memory and continuity are fundamentally broken, what on earth can you do?
The answer is wild. You build one on the outside. The solution isn't about trying to fix the internal hardware, it's about engineering an entirely external system of support. A set of what you could call cognitive prosthetics that can do the work the brain can't do on its own anymore. So how is this external brain actually built? Well, it all rests on 4 foundational tools. 4 cognitive prosthetics that are designed to engineer a whole new reality.
The first tool is called the time-bending mirror, and it's pretty much what it sounds like, a way to look back through time objectively. And what is it? We're talking about security cameras.
So the crucial point here is that these cameras aren't for paranoia, they're for proof. When an amnesia wall slams down and a memory is just gone, the camera footage provides an objective, verifiable record of what actually happened. It becomes an external hard drive, bridging the gaps and creating a shared, factual timeline for every part of the mind.
All right, next up we've got the time grid. This tool is all about tackling that abstract and often really distorted perception of time by making the 24-hour day something you can actually see and touch.
Now, this isn't just a to-do list. It's way more like a capacity meter. By first blocking out the absolute non-negotiables, sleep, hygiene, meals, the grid visually shows you the hard limits of a day. This external structure helps quiet that constant, exhausting state of hypervigilance. And that frees up so much mental energy that was just being burned trying to figure out when you are.
Our third tool is called environmental applets. And you can think of them like little applications that get hard-coded right into the living space, using simple things like whiteboards and sticky notes.
The sources use this fantastic restaurant analogy for this. Imagine the part of the mind that takes an order is completely cut off from the part in the kitchen. Well, these whiteboards, they're the ticket that passes the order along. So when a part of the mind wakes up with literally no data connection to what just happened, the applet is sitting right there, giving it the instructions it needs to pick up and continue the task. And finally, our fourth tool is built for someone the system calls the tomorrow person, which is the part of the mind that's going to wake up tomorrow with a completely blank slate.
This is where smart home tech becomes a literal caretaker. You can have motion-triggered Alexa routines that automatically announce the current date, the time, and the day's calendar appointments. It's an instant dose of reality, a bridge across that amnesiac gap from one day to the next that grounds the tomorrow person and keeps the whole system moving forward.
So, when you put all of these tools together, what do you actually get? Well, you start to move from a state of just constantly surviving to something much, much more. You actually begin to weave a new, functional reality.
The big picture concept for this entire system is prosthetic memory. It's not about fixing what's broken on the inside, but about building this durable, reliable scaffolding on the outside. This external system is what patches the holes, restores the context, and creates a stable foundation to build on.
And that, right there, is the ultimate goal. The person's intellect, their ability to see patterns, that's all still there. It's just been starved of data. By restoring that missing context, these tools finally unleash that powerful intellect, allowing it to engage with and finally make sense of the world again.
What we've looked at today is just a testament to radical ingenuity. It proves that even when the internal fabric of our reality tears apart, it is possible to weave a new one on the outside. If you want to learn more about this process, join us at We Have the Will as we continue to build the tools to navigate a fractured reality.